380 million years ago on the Devonian, the Alamo asteroid impact occurred out on the carbonate shelf, out in maybe 1,000 feet of water. This hike, I hiked up to the breccia and other features up on Frenchman Mountain on the east side of Las Vegas. I just got back from my hike up to Frenchman Mountain, up to the Alamo asteroid breccia. It's the light blue line, this one here, that color. This is only some of the times I've been up there. A lot of these GPS routes are turned off, but it's this blue line. But anyway, it was funny because I actually started walking at 5 a.m. and I come back down about a quarter after noon. And the sun was up there, the temperature was 110 degrees, and the people down here, it was, they don't know whether they go, well, he started out at 5 in the morning, but the van is still here. We don't know if we should call 911 or what. Certainly he's dead up there. Nobody could be up there and survive this. It's a, so I come strolling along. I actually got chills from drinking iced tea. And I come strolling along, and it was like, they see me about here strolling up casually, and it was like they thought Jesus had rose from the dead or something when they come down to the van. But no, you just plan accordingly and prepare. And it was a 7-hour hike. I had a great time. Everything was perfect, and I arrived back at the van still with ice water, and it was great. I'll do a report about my hike. But what I wanted to do was go up and inspect now see this white layer here, turns out this is quartzite. That's why it's white. And that's the post-impact uh, material. And that 100% breccia is like in here, right in here. That's why all those lines along there. Okay, and this whitish band, uh, let's see. Let's see. Now that was a mistake to do that. So where is it? I just wanted to show the white band. Well, let me click on this. Here, this will show it. But see that white band? That's the asteroid material. That's quartzite and breccia. That white band looking out over Las Vegas, that's what that white band is, Alamo asteroid material. So anyway, that's it. I'll file a report later with some pictures, but my goal was to go up and inspect this white layer, not the breccia so much. I took good pictures and stuff of the breccia of the study area, but I wanted to inspect this standing material after the impact to clarify what it was. So I'll file a report on that. Right now, I just wanted to say how funny it was that I come walking down. Yes, it was 110 degrees. I come walking, well, like right across there. They see me walking across the field there, and like Moses had risen from the dead or something, and was coming down with the Ten Commandments like Charlton Heston did. No, it was very, very casual, very nice, very easy hike. It's too bad that people during the summer sit at home. They're afraid of spiders and snakes. They stay at home until Thanksgiving or Christmas, and it's just not necessary. But you have to play all your cards. You have to know what you're doing, or you will die. The heat will kill you immediately. Not long drawn out. It can happen very quickly. I want to add in and point out that remember my hike of a few days ago where I went up to Alamo up to specifically inspect the red material. the reddish quartzite material up directly above the impact breccia. Well, there it is. And of course, I didn't go up there. I couldn't, but I took pictures. I broke apart rocks where this material had fallen, and I took samples and broke apart rocks that had fallen that showed that it's very similar to what's up at Alamo. But there's that reddish layer, and so after the impact, like this area here is 100% breccia, and then this is after the impact. Now all of this is suspect after the impact. It's not like here's the impact, now here comes the ocean, now let's go, we get to Mississippian and Pennsylvanian and coal beds, and no, all of this is suspect, if not this. All of that is suspect post-impact, especially this red layer. And now that reddish layer, you'll see it drops down here, but see it's a marker layer and it stays in position above the asteroid material. So that reddish layer is, now here's the asteroid material, and that material, that reddish, which is quartzite, is now highly suspect, and I also took pictures of it there. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff that's suspicious now. It's not just here's the impact, all this while the ocean came in, now it's been billions of years later, and now let's go back to business. No, the answer is no. All of this is suspect up above here. Now I was just sermonizing about the red marker layer up above, similar to up at Alamo, that's above the breccia. Well, this had fallen, and I immediately spotted that's what it was. Also, I can only get up so high at that location, and so I was well aware to look for fallen material, because that red marker layer, if it's the same at Frenchman as up at Alamo, that red marker layer should be up above, that I can't get to it. Sure enough, you can see it on Google Earth, and the stuff that's fallen, that's what it is. There's slight differences, but see there, that's what it is. It's quartzite. They're very similar. Now, this broken surface is not good. You know, the geologists break the rocks with hammers. Well, that's not necessarily a good surface. Look at this fracturing here. And so what I'll do is I'll take that away with the acid and try to get to the surface itself. But you notice that material is homogeneous, just like the red material up at Alamo. The homogeneous quartz. Now here you don't have the individual perfect, like sand grain stuff, but it's very similar and it's homogeneous. It is not sedimentary. There was no sand washing down, no muck washing down. This is quartzite. So that's the red material. And here's some reddish, the injectite stuff, still associated with the reddish material that got injected from above, I believe, the reddish material up above. It's a long story. See there, see the reddish? There's no sedimentation in there. So there you go. I'll file my report, but I just wanted to add in that red marker layer, it is there. It is there. It's up above where you can't reach it. They're very similar. The different samples are very similar to up at Alamo. Now look at this one. These crystals here are not like sand. This is where the rain has leached this out and exposed these grains. And so there's what you've got. They're not perfect sand grains. See in there? See in there? So if you soak this in acid, which I'm going to do, you're going to end up with a view like this. So the material is a little bit different, but not much different. See there? There's a test area. I'm kind of doing my report now, but that's, some beautiful flow features of liquefaction from the impact and stuff. I mean, you could sit and look at, when you're up there, you could sit and look at this all day. Sunset Station is what that is. I've often wondered what that is. It's Sunset Station. Also, the material is heavily infiltrated by the travertine, and this is not later. This was not material, and then we had some hot fluid flows recently within the past 10, 20 million years. No, this was at the time, you can tell it. But heavy deposits of travertine, and that if the crater and the area stayed hot with fracturing, then it's known that the material would come up and bubble through and be supersaturated for tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of years. So that's what that is. And this travertine, I took samples, and like, you think you could break that pretty easy. You hit that with a hammer, we'll break some of this off. It's nice little calcite or whatever. But no, you hit it, it's like hitting hardened steel. I bashed and I bashed and I bashed relentlessly. I know you don't believe it looking at it, but go there and do it. For right now, I'm calling it travertine. And there's the broken surface. I did break it, and there's the broken surface. I mean, it is like steel. And this here, I broke this on the way down, working over, and to show that it's actually white. It's white underneath. And that's why that layer looks white. It's quartzy. There's the top of, or there's looking up at the tweaker's hut. See, there's the tweaker's hut, looking up, coming up to it. By the way, that the top of these mountains over here, like there's Turtlehead. This is Charleston, so Turtlehead Peak is like right there, one of those. And then the top of these, like this and this. Let's go to the next one. Yeah, the Turtlehead Peak, I think, is that one. And like the top of these is Alamo asteroid impact breccia, Devonian. Top of these. I showed it in one of my videos. There, I kind of did my whole report, but there's a bird. Does anybody know what that bird is? Now this black material is that quartzy material, likely fallen from up above. And so I just want to show what it looks like if you bash it apart. Boy, believe me, you really have to bash with a hammer. I mean, this is good, solid quartz. There's what it looks like broken, but notice that it's very similar. That's not sedimentary, that's quartz. It's quartzite, quartzite. This was up there at the very highest point that I made it, 1991, and it says cadastral layer. What's or survey? What's that? Now, working up that on the faults, you can see some stuff like this. It's breccia. Remember, when you see breccia, it doesn't mean, well, here's some breccia, here's some crushed material. An asteroid must have hit. That's not the way it works. This is fault material. See there? That's fault breccia. Breccia does not mean an asteroid hit. The Alamo breccia is very specific stuff. You have to be at the correct place and know just what you're looking for. Now, my tea, I drank my iced tea, and there's still ice. So I transferred my regular water from here over to there to refill up, and so that I drank ice water all the way up to right to unlock the van, and I still had some left over. There we go. It just works out that I did the whole report. To hell with it. I'll just tack them together and file the report.
I want to point out that as I film where they did the boreholes, that I'm standing on breccia. So that's pretty representative of the breccia. My first couple of times up, I was like of the mindset that here's the interface. Like right there is the interface. There's the breccia. There was the impact. Right here is where the impact was. And this is all brecciated. And everything down here is unaffected layers, maybe borderline for a little bit, but that's the interface, and all of this is pre-impact. That's not the way it works. Absolutely not. You'll run into, true, at this point, this is 100% breccia. Okay, but hiking up here and at other areas, you'll run into brecciated layers 100 feet, 200 feet in depth as you're hiking up before you get to the 100% breccia. This is not an interface of there's the impact, there's after, and here's before the impact. Flat out, I tell you that on this day. Do not think that.
I photoshopped this in as a concept of what it would have looked like. The crater rim would have been roughly uh, a mile high, and so it shows that it would have been isolated similar to this. But that's just for fun that I did that. But there's the concept and about the right size. Be looking for other videos that I will attach to this one.